Hello and welcome to Tabletop 24. I'm Alan.
I'm John.
I'm Brian.
And it's that time of year again where we do our preview for Airecon. So, for those that don't know, Airecon is a tabletop convention held in Harrogate. This year it's being held on the 14th to the 17th of March in the Harrogate Convention Centre. It's about the 8th year of it going on in different forms. I think the first one obviously was in Mark's living room over the course of a weekend and a few people. This year we're going to see a massive turnout at the event and we're quite excited. It's one of our favourite dates in the calendar. We're going to run through this preview of what to expect, what to prepare yourself for, maybe things you did know, maybe things you didn't know, and hopefully give you a little bit more information on it in a video format and from our experience when we've been previously. So what to expect?
A massive relaxed gaming space, but like a massive pop-up gaming cafe for a weekend.
Yeah, much more gaming community than sort of commercial retail type event. So from that point of view, if you want to go and learn some games, play some games in a nice relaxed atmosphere, this is the convention for you.
Yeah, it's very much focused on that. And one of the conversations I've had with the organisers before is that their ratios, they try and keep at least 2/3 play space to 1/3 anything else, which really sort of harmonises with what's being tried to be achieved. And that gives you that atmosphere. There's a lot of people that go to Airecon just to play games and they don't even go and look at the exhibitors. And that's what that's there for. And actually, sometimes it's a good catch up with some friends, really.
Yeah, we made some good friends last year, and it's always nice seeing the organisers and stuff, and just catching up. And some of the exhibitors that we deal with as well. It's the community as a whole. It sort of comes together for a weekend in Harrogate. It's
and it's very family friendly as well. There's lots of young families there as well, going to special areas to keep themselves, entertained.
Yeah, and it does cater for pretty much everybody in the tabletop hobby with some new additions this year, which should broaden the horizons even further. But before we get to that, let's talk about the layout. So, as I said before, this is from the Harrogate Convention Centre. It's changing shape a little bit. The Harrogate Convention Centre is a massive venue, and they use different parts of it. This year, we're using the same end that was being used last year, with some extra space and with some extra rooms. So, you will hopefully see, I'm going to put up a bit of an overlay of all the rooms.
a map down below.
Yeah, so John always drops me on these ones. But we're going to have the main exhibitors hall, which is going to be where you're going to be able to go and do a little bit of trade, do a little bit of demos with those guys. We'll get on to a bit more about that. Playtesting. So then you're going to get into your open gaming area. That's probably where the playtesting is going to be. It's going to have a lot more sort of just tables, really. And it's going to be masses and masses of tables for you to...
people and games.
And then you're going to have your seminar rooms. So they're going to be off to one side where there's going to be certain events that are going to be held and certain sort of talks and stuff like that. And we're also going to have the Royal Hall, which is going to be where a lot of this year's sort of bigger events are going to take place. So they're sort of got this extra space. And the hall, if you've seen pictures, and I'll try and put a few of those up, will be sort of this sort of extravagant sort of Victorian style theatre. And so there's going to be some in there which is a bit of a different space for everybody else to get to. But on that open gaming, and that's what this convention is all about. It's just about getting to those games to the table.
Yeah, I understand they're doing a different thing this year. They've got different coloured tablecloths as well to try and make it easier to find where people are. I'm on the red tables, I'm on the blue tables.
Won't be red, but yeah, will be an orange table. Maybe white tables.
So it'll hopefully be a little easier to navigate around where you're going. They try and keep them all on one level as well. There's a few stairs here and there. But generally speaking, most of the stuff they try and keep on one level.
I think the overriding thing for me last year was walking from one hall thinking, wow, there's a lot of people here, and then going, wow, there's even more people in here. Wow, there's even more people in this one, and the scale of it was huge, and which is really good. And it's just nice seeing so many people just participating in games. You know, we know the hobby's big and the hobby's growing, and going to UKG and things, it's back big, but this sort of like cements the amount of people that actually just want to get out there and play.
Yeah, and that's big what it is. And don't worry if you're not used to some of the games that might be on offer, because there's some really good handy tips that the organisation have put on to help you get to grips with a new game or to find people to play with. So there's the game gurus. So these are going to be people that will know games and be able to teach them. So they can teach you to a group, teach you to use solo or however. Then you're going to have the lightsabers and the sort of player wanted signs, which these are quite useful. You used that last year.
Yeah, Wandering Towers had loads of people come over and I played it with them. Happy to, and you know, if you see a game that you like the look of, just go up and nobody's going to say go away. We're playing a game. They'll want to talk about the game because it's one of the great things about the hobby. Everybody is friendly. You know from your little game groups, everybody knows games and wants to talk about a new thing. Go and talk to people.
Yeah, the amount of people that came by as we were playing it and looked, oh, what's that then? And it draws you in, and it's quite welcoming as well.
Yeah. One of the big things that the staff for Airecon put on is the game system. Now that it's got multifaceted, but it enables you to sort of schedule in a game when it's comfortable for you. Players can then sign up to that game, and then you can be off. So these games that you might not normally get to the table. So one of the ones that we know of with groups, there's one of my friends that plays Zaya, Legend of the Drift System. I'm trying to get in on a game of Hegemony this year. These are games that you don't normally get to the table.
Either because they're too long or they take too many players. Yeah.
Or games you just don't have in your collection. So, for instance, for me, I've got Discworld Ankh Warpork. That's to come out at a few conventions, sort of thing. So, or Lords of Vegas. Big maps for Heat. So there's people that get the fan-made Nuremberg for Heat. So all these games get set up in there, and you can just sign on to them. That should hopefully be launching around the time this video goes out, if not just a little bit after. So that's going to be great. That's good for sort of scheduling games on there. But it's not the only thing it does, and we'll come back to that a little bit later. But if the hustle and bustle of the main hall is not for you, there is some quiet zones. And this is one of the things that I found really unique for Airecon. The very first year we went is they've got a few zones where it's just sort of quiet. It's that there's no sort of screaming and shouting. Everybody's there just to respect that quiet bit, and it's almost a mutual agreement. It's labelled the quiet zone for that reason. So if you're not into big noises or big crowds, it's probably going to be for you.
It can be quite overwhelming, that amount of people. I remember just after COVID when we came out and the amount of people there, that was quite overwhelming, the amount of people that are actually there to participate. So yeah, it is a needed space.
Yeah. If you don't bring your games with you, there's the library. Now, I think the library that Airecon uses, which is the Travelling Man's Library, is fantastic. It's been a £10 deposit, which you can get back at the end. You give them the phone number, they give you a library card. You can go up and rent games as much as you like. You can even rent them overnight. I think overnight on the Friday and the Saturday, as long as they're back, I think 2 hours before they close. On the Sunday, then there's loads of games in that library, stuff that you may not even ever have thought of.
Yeah, so you can browse it, or if it's something that you're looking for specifically, you can look on online, I guess, on the game system. It is first come, first served. So if you don't see it straight away, just come back again an hour or so later. You might find it back again.
Yeah, and I think on the game system, you can actually mark for when it gets handed back in, so you can get an alerted to say, oh, this is back, if you want to go and get it.
And it's nice talking to people when they're browsing. You know, what are you looking for? And recommend games, or you might want to try that or this. You know,
we're going to sort of let a little bit of a secret. I believe there's a copy of Comic Hunters in that library.
That was great.
Which is great.
That was a smash last year. That was brilliant.
Yeah.
So obviously there's some hidden gems in there. I know that got put in there. As well as, I know there was a couple of extra copies of Heat that went in, because that was obviously the hot game last year as well.
Everybody seemed to be playing that.
So I imagine there's going to be a copy of Wormspan in there, for those of you who want that extra bit of Wingspan, and some other hot games out there. But that library is very well curated. Like I say, it is first come, first served, but there's always something there. Even when it's picked quite bare bones, like late on a Saturday where everybody's got the games out overnight, there's still something there.
There's lots to choose from.
3,000 Scoundrels was one that we picked up last year. Great game. Wouldn't normally have played it. So it's.
I might be brave this year, not taking any games with me and just go completely from the library.
That's just because you know that I'll take some.
Yeah, I know there's bags of stuff going.
So talking about the game zones themselves, so there's lots of different game zones that get set up. So there's stuff for RPGs. There's going to be a new edition this year for the Intro to Wargamers. There's the demo zone, and there's going to be a playtest zone, the family zone, which are all sort of pretty self-explanatory. There's going to be a paint and take from Tooth and Coats. So go up, get a model, paint with their sets, see what they're like, maybe take some away with you. And so all of those are there, but most of those are going to be sort of recommended to book in advance.
Yeah,
So,
they're quite popular.
Yeah, do book.
particularly on the RPGs, because they do fill up really
Yeah.
quickly. And I think some of them are even at full capacity as this will go out. So be wary of that. But one thing we have noticed this year is there's more of those games being listed. So do check that out, because there's something for everybody.
Yeah, it's all listed on the website, by the way. Link will be below.
Yeah.
Alan. So do check them out. We if we did that, listed them all, we'd be here.
There's
all
too
day.
much to list
Yeah.
in this video, but the
And
website's...
This video is going to be a long one. It's going to be quite detailed, but there's going to be a lot more. We would direct everybody to the website for that, but we're just obviously going to give you a bit of a flavour for that. So, as most of us hobby gamers have, there's probably a few too many games on your shelf, and Airecon is a perfect opportunity to thin that collection. So there is the bring and buy. It's very popular. It's probably equally as popular as the one at UKGE, I would probably say.
Yes.
Now, one thing on this is there will be people that take trolleys of games to the bring and buy.
There was people over 6 foot tall stacks of cling film wrapped games, and they were wheeling them in, and people in the queue behind were just like, whoa.
That may sound awful, but it's not.
No.
The team that work at the bring and buy are absolutely fantastic.
The volunteers.
They process those games so damn quickly and get you through and get you out the door. Last year there was the unfortunate snowstorm, so we started queuing outside in the snow very early doors on the Thursday, and we were in very, very quickly after that.
No, they were superb.
Even with these trolleys of games that were going in. So do not be put off if you see people go up with this big bags of stuff, because this might be their one and only chance a year to get games out of their collection that they've
You'll have a big bag of stuff as well, no doubt. So do you know what I mean? Everybody's going to have games.
But that doesn't mean there's lots to choose from, and the amount of choice that's in there is phenomenal. And there'll be multiple copies of games as well, so if you miss it the first time, you'll get it the second time.
You might give yourself a nice bargain.
The main thing to keep in mind for the bring and buy is because there are you can sell things, get cash for it straight away. It is paid by cash only, not card. So bring cash if you want to be going to bring and buy to sell games.
Yeah, and it's on
games,
they're listed on the game system app as well. So you can, it's searchable. You can see if the game that you want is maybe in there.
Yes, you can. Yeah.
Typically, it's fairly well organised. I must admit, sometimes you go to a bring and buy, and it's a little bit like a jumble sale. But this one is really well organised.
The first year we went, when it was in support of Ukraine, it was just absolutely fantastic. It was so well organised. You filtered in, you went round, you picked up what you wanted, and it was absolutely brilliant. It really was good.
If you are looking to sell games, there is sort of a handling fee on each sale. But it's nominal in comparison to what you're selling, and as we all know, we do need that space on the shelf because we need to buy some
more games.
Pick some up on the way round.
So we mentioned the events that are going on a few times. Now let's go into those in a little bit more detail. The two big ones for us every single year are the raffle and the quiz. So let's start with the quiz. This was something we missed out on 2 years ago. And something we managed to get to last year.
So it's like a normal pub quiz, but it's all board game themed, and there's picture rounds. There's
there was an AI art round, down round.
There's highs, there's lows.
Something that I know Mark will be busy making up as this.
As long as he gets the rules for us all right this time.
He did not make friends. So I think that's a really good laugh. That is normally well attended, so making sure you get a seat at that is going to be quite key.
But again, that was another event where we sat at a table with somebody else and didn't know them before and just made friends.
So and this is the thing, it is one of those events where you just will bump into anybody. So that's the quiz. Always good fun, real good laugh. I think that is something we're going to look forward to getting to this year. The raffle. Now, we've mentioned the bring and buy being very sort of synonymous with Airecon. We've mentioned the gaming space, but the thing that stands out in my mind for Airecon is the raffle.
Explain how the raffle works then.
So it's not the same as you would normally expect. So most standard raffles, buy some tickets. If your ticket gets called out, you win a prize. With the raffle for Airecon, and I'm fairly sure this is going to be the way it's run this year, as it's been for the last several years, because mainly we don't have enough time to stand in the hall calling out numbers for every donation that is given to the raffle. What they do is it'd be a long one, wouldn't it?
Gee, yeah.
They clump the prizes into tables. Now, I think the last couple of years there's been 5 or 6 tables. Maybe this year there might be a few more looking at what's in the stack. So these are sort of clumped, and there'll be maybe 10 to 15 games on this table. You will buy your raffle tickets. You'll keep one side of the strip, the other side of the strip. You'll go around, and there'll be buckets in front of these tables where you'll put your tickets in. If a ticket comes out, you win that whole table of games. Okay,
Yep.
and then we're talking probably between £400 and £600 worth of games on the average table.
You might buy 20 tickets and fancy table B, so you put all your tickets in table B. You might fancy having a dabble in all of the tables and that, and seeing if it comes out.
But you can see what you're going to be winning if you do win,
Yeah.
because you'll be able to walk around the tables in advance, see what's on the tables,
It
see
is.
what attracts your attention.
It is amazing prizes. It really is.
They are
it
good.
really, really is.
So with that, again, it's another one of those well-attended things, and we've said this quite a lot in this, but there will be hundreds of people there. They raise an astronomical amount of money when they do this raffle, and these raffle, and a lot of the stuff that Airecon does is in aid of some charities. This year we've got Mary's Meals and Imagine Gaming. So Mary's Meals is offering meals to people all over the world for that are underprivileged and unable to afford them themselves. And Imagine Gaming is about getting games into schools to enrich learning and also play. So some 2 great sort of charities that are being supported. Airecon always supports some really good charities, so they're there. That's pretty much what the raffle is. So the raffle has game prizes from numerous publishers, some non-publishers, some retail stores, some people I know. Martin's got his backer kit links that has managed to get some stuff in there as well. I will pop up a few of those as we've gone through, so people can see what sort of pictures are coming to that prize, but that's always something to do. And at the end of the day, it's worth potentially a tenner for a couple of tickets, so potentially
Good charity.
good charity.
Yeah.
Might win some games.
Yeah.
If you don't, you can see the scramble for when people do win some.
It's ridiculous prizes. It really is. It's just crazy.
And it's worth noting that you have to take them away with you.
Yeah, that's true. That's a very good point.
So yeah,
If you come on your bicycle, maybe.
but saying that, there will be people there that will probably buy off you if you are not interested in everything that you've got. Okay, moving on. So we've got some events that are going to go on over that weekend. So there's such things like the mega games. So these are going to be things where you've got 30 to 50 people in potentially. So there's a vampire masquerade.
Vampire one, yeah.
There's normally Sagrada, so Mega Sagrada goes on where they do a massive game of Sagrada. There's several others as well.
Championships as well. The Crokinole.
So we've got tournaments, Crokinole. Clask is normally one of the ones. So Karuka is another one. So there's a lot of those that go on. We've got the Dodo World Championships.
Yeah, that looks interesting.
Yeah. So we've got those. We've also got the Starship Simulator. So if you haven't ever checked that out, that's quite interesting. You
Captain.
Captain.
Take a role on a starship bridge and go through a scenario. That is bookable. I think there's an additional fee for that, so check that one out if you are interested, because that always gets booked up and typically sold out. So that is something.
When I say UKJE, that's always booked up and sold out as well. It's just one of those things that's unique, and you have to experience it really.
Yeah, it's good to do.
Yeah, there's more guests than ever this year. I'm going to name some names now. We've got Jasper Cartwright, Paul Foxcroft, Ivan Brett, the Jolly Boat, and John Chiodini. I'm hoping I pronounced that right. All different guests doing different seminars and different events throughout the weekend. And you may notice that when you look at the Airecon website, there is the Watch It Played logo that is linked to.
Hello, Rodney.
Those guys or the whole crew for Watch It Played, I believe, barring a few, are going to be over. They're going to be running different events throughout the weekend. I know they've got the Strike Championship that they've got going on. They'll also be doing some seminar work. And I know they typically get involved with the raffle as well, doing the drawing on that. So they will be in full attendance there. Now, if that wasn't enough, we've also got an exhibitors hall. Now, obviously, as we said before, the ratio is typically 2/3 gaming to 1/3 of everything else. Part of that everything else is the exhibitors hall. And you can see numerous different trade stalls that are there. There's a few retail, so obviously Traveller Man are going to be there. I think Firestorm are going to be there. Game Law are going to be there for your retail fix. Patriot Games as well. Then you have got your sort of demo stalls, your publisher stalls. So Oink, always popular, one of the event sponsors. You're going to have, I think, Origame are coming over.
Korea, yeah.
So that's the first time there. I promise that the community for Airecon is really friendly, so don't make
Say
me
hello.
liar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ravensburger are going to be there, even bigger this year because they've got something small TCG that's come out. Disney Lorcana.
Yeah, Lorcana.
No.
Yeah.
If you have been living under a rock, obviously Disney Lorcana is a trading card game that has been launched, has been a massive success for Ravensburger. They have got a very large booth here there this year. They're going to be demoing some of the game, potentially be able to pick up some product. Their latest set, Into the Inklings, has just launched, so that's set 3 with some new location cards. So it's all changing up in that world. So check that out. We know that I think it's going to be on the Imagination Gaming. Flesh and Blood is also going to be there. Speaking of TCGs, so they're starting on their convention tours now, and I think this is going to be one of their first. So check them out. We've got Hachette. So Hachette always got something different going on.
Something new to show.
Yeah.
It's always good.
Yeah, so always check that out. They always have something sneaky that they launch or bring along.
Yeah.
So do check them out from that.
It's always worth just walking around those halls and poking your nose into some of the stands and see what's going on.
You can see what's coming up as well.
Yeah.
See what's coming in pipeline.
Yeah. There's always games to demo. We demoed Darwin and some other games last year.
Yeah.
There's always somebody with something really interesting out there that you might not have heard of, or you'll find out for the first time. So, or if you don't know about Lorcana,
now's your chance to find out.
Now's your chance to find out. Yeah.
Yeah. So if maybe a game isn't your fancy, maybe not buying a game is your fancy, there is numerous stalls that will be doing accessories as well. So there's some 3D printing stalls, there's some clothing stalls, artwork.
Yep.
So there's everything you can imagine for the tabletop industry. One thing I do like about Airecon, particularly now with the new layout, is that it is separate from the gaming space.
Yeah.
So you're not sort of forced to go into that cell, but you can if you want, and it doesn't overlap, so it makes it really convenient for that. So there's a lot of traders in there. Obviously, some of the traders that we know have been there before, so Cogito, Ergo, Meeple, they've gone to the demo area. They've got their new game Meeple Inc. in that demo area, so check that out. And that will be live on GameFound, I believe, whilst we're at the convention. So that's going to be one of the highlights. Looking forward to seeing Maddie and Joe at that one. And if that wasn't enough, and I can't believe I'm getting this far into video without talking about food.
The food. Yeah.
So
food hall.
So that's new this year. So the food hall is going to be somewhere dedicated so you can go and sit down.
The food's always good. It's not a highlight and it's not what we go for, but it's not something you think, I don't like the food. There's something for everybody. They cater for all tastes.
Yeah.
It's great.
Food's always good.
Yeah. So they've got the food trucks outside that will be there. A majority of them are returning brands that they've seen before. So they have all different types. One of the things that I was told last year was how much they catered for vegans as well. There's a lot of sort of variety of vegans and vegetarians, which was quite encouraging, really.
Inclusive is the word.
Inclusive, yes, inclusive. There's going to be some pizzas that are made on site by the convention centre, so they'll be there. And how remiss of me not to mention the Airecon mugs. So if you haven't already ordered yours, there will be a limited supply of these and the other Airecon merchandise available, but it will be first come, first serve. So that will sell out pretty quick. But the mugs themselves, I believe they're £10. They come in a variety of different colours with the Airecon logos and some of the brand ambassador logos. I think Unk, again, are the mug sponsor this year. And they give you a discount on hot drinks from the convention vendors. So it's a win-win. Obviously, if you like a good cup of tea, good cup of coffee, it's probably
worth getting one.
Yeah. When it gets to midnight or something and you're late night gaming, that coffee will keep you going.
And if coffee's not your thing, I believe the last few years Major Tom's has done beer. I don't know if they're there this year, but there will be normally some sort of alcohol service.
Yeah.
I can't imagine Mark letting that go.
No.
Go awry. So I think he's got his beer tasting again this year as one of the events. I think that's roughly all about.
On the drink side, just stay watered. As well.
Be hydrated. Yeah.
It's a long event for getting through some of the games. So keep your focus.
And if
Stay frosty, people.
Stay
Stay frosty.
frosty.
and if that's not your thing, Harrogate itself is lovely.
Yeah.
So you have a wander around there. I mean,
Yeah.
we've got a few
Betty's
restaurants.
Tea Room, yeah, we're going to get breakfast there at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to the Establo, which is another Argentinian or Brazilian
meat
barbecue. Yeah,
yeah. So well.
yeah. So that's going to be quite enjoyable. But sort of final advice for everybody:
Relax, enjoy it.
It is, yeah. Don't over plan, because look at the website before you go, see what's available. Maybe make some ideas of what you want to see, but don't feel you've got to hit those plans, because things change and you might see something that catches your eye.
First walking in, you might think, if you've not been before, I'm going to get a game out and set up. Maybe a bit of anxiety game. But
so there's loads of volunteers there. The game gurus, the volunteers in their yellow shirts.
Yep.
If you're not sure what to do, just go up to one of those and say, "Hi, I'm new. What can you suggest?" They'll be really happy to help you.
Yeah, and again, it comes back to that point. The community, particularly at Airecon, is absolutely fantastic. I mean, it's got some of the best people in our hobby that are around there.
Yeah, and it brings out the best in people as well.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah.
It's just so friendly, so nice, so chilled. It's just a great event for the 3 days that it's on. It really is.
Yeah.
It's almost becoming the Glastonbury of board games. It's about it's about participation and playing. It's not about the sell. It's about participating in the hobby, and that's the best bit of it.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. I mean, it's obviously so big now. We can't not now mention Airecon Northwest, which is in Manchester later in the year, and we believe there's going to be Airecon West, which is going to be Telford.
Yeah, Telford again.
So I think this one's now been dubbed AC Prime. There's been a few photos of Optimus floating around. So look, it's a casual event. It's fantastic. We're obviously overselling it now, I think, but
don't think you can. I genuinely don't think you can oversell it, because I think it is that good an event.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
really. So
recommended. Yeah.
if you can't get there, well, what can you do about it? Well, we'll as always do our convention catch-up series. So we will go around to some of the vendors, some of the people there, and do some recordings, some interviews with those. Those will hopefully go live on the channel in the weeks following the event. I'm doing some traveling myself afterwards, so it might be a little bit of a delay on it, but we'll get some of those out when we can. Check out the website for more information on the event itself. There'll be some information put up there. There's also the Airecon community group, so if you just fancy joining along with that and can't make it, there'll be people there that you can interact with.
They're on all the socials: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of those usual places. If you're so inclined to that, they're on there, so check them out.
So, and we will be back after the convention with our sort of review of the convention, what we got up to, what we got played, who we bumped into, and everything in between. With
massive smiles on our faces, because that's what it was. I remember doing the recap last time, and just thinking about it just made me smile. It's making me smile now.
Yeah. So give us a like, give us a subscribe, so you can catch up on that when it comes out, and we will catch you next time. Take care.
See you at Airecon.